The best time to buy a suppressor is now. In fact, the best time to buy a suppressor was yesterday, and I'm going to tell you why. Got two suppressors here. This one, about twice the suppressor, but a lot less of a weight than this one. And it comes down to, well, Form 4, Form 1 weight times. We're going to talk about Form 1s too, but mostly Form 4s in this video because that is generally what you're going to use to get a suppressor. Now, a lot of people seem to be under the impression that any day now, these things won't be regulated under the NFA anymore, and you won't have to wait, and you won't have to get a tax stamp. Maybe that's true. I'm not holding my breath, and I don't think you should either. If you want a suppressor, get it now. This suppressor, if you've been following the channel for any period of time, I mean, I've got a few suppressors now. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my 5th suppressor. This will be my 5th SBR. So that is 10 NFA items. I've done the weight before. I've done the weight quite a few times, and I generally don't get very fast turnarounds. My approvals usually take months. The reason I showed this one at first, this one took over 11 months, but this was my very first suppressor. And that was before they updated their process to what it is now, where people are getting much quicker approvals. I never thought I was going to be one of those people though. And all of a sudden, I got a 1-day suppressor approval. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. You might have seen my video a few weeks ago about the Mac 5K. It's an MP5K clone. It is a Turkish clone and it comes in at $1,000. And we're doing a full 2-stamp build on this, and it's going to be sweet. In fact, I already have everything we need for it. But of course, the thing that I thought was going to take the longest was waiting for tax stamps. I certified a Form 4 for this Resilient Ramblin' Man, which Resilient Suppressors did send this to me, and I really appreciate that because I needed a suppressor for this build anyway. We will be doing a full review on this suppressor. It is a very cool can. But I certified this Form 4 the same day that I certified the Form 1 to SBR this. As you can see, there is no stock on it though, and we will talk about that in a minute because I don't have a Form 1 approval yet, but I do have a Form 4 approval, and it happened much quicker than I thought it would. You know, I've been talking about suppressor approval times for about a year now, ever since, well, a little over a year, ever since they really sped up at the beginning of 2024. I think it was around February that all of a sudden people started seeing much faster turnarounds when it came to NFA applications. Well, those turnarounds have gone up and down a little bit over the last little bit more than a year, but for the most part, they've been pretty consistently much quicker than they have traditionally been for all the years that I've been doing this. All of a sudden, people were, and I've talked about it in videos, people were getting approvals in a matter of days or weeks. Still didn't happen for me though. I got like 3 suppressors last year. Polonium K, Polonium 30, and the Mod 1 here. And I didn't get any of them in a matter of days or even a matter of weeks. All of them still took months, but none of them took 11.5 months. And so, you know what, to me, hey, things were getting better. All of a sudden I did this one and it was a 1-day approval. Now, you know, the whole process takes a little bit more than that. You got to get the suppressor sent to your FFL, fill out the paperwork. My FFL and I love them. Awesome guys, Guffey's Gun and Pawn. Anyway, something happened where my form didn't get submitted the day I thought it did. A week later, I went back in there, got it submitted, certified it the next day, and the day after that, I had this suppressor in my hand, taking it home with me. Like I said, we'll get deeper into this suppressor in a dedicated video about it because it's a very interesting suppressor. In fact, I just got the Yankee Hill Machine Tri-Lug mount for it yesterday. So you can see that my MP5K build is coming along, and there will be an update video on that soon as well. But I was not expecting to get this suppressor that quickly. And so then I was very excited to also get my Form 1 back because the last time I had a Form 4 and a Form 1 out at the same time, well, I got a batch approval. And that's when I SBR'd my Mark 18. This video is sponsored by Venice AI. Do you ever wonder what ChatGPT does with your conversations? We all know that our phones, Alexa, everything like that, listens to our conversations and then advertises to us based on what we say. Well, what else are these things doing with our personal information? They're selling it to third parties, including governments. In fact, the director of the NSA, the former director, is now sitting on the board of ChatGPT, which is why I'm using Venice AI. Venice AI is an AI software. It uses open source software that you don't have to download. It goes straight to your web browser, but the biggest thing is that it's private and permissionless. And so you don't have to worry about them selling your information to anybody else, which is kind of why it's a big deal to me. I like privacy, even though I show everything that I do on a YouTube channel. My daughter, she's 13. She uses AI for all kinds of things these days. She's been writing stories with it. She's been making music with it. It is incredible what you can do with AI. It's a very powerful tool, but keep your privacy while you use it with Venice AI. I like the Pro plan personally. It just gives you a lot more that you can do, and you can get a 20% off on your Pro plan if you sign up using my link. That is venice.ai/sawtoothtactical. Use that code to get 20% off. The code is sawtoothtactical. Before the ad, we were talking about a batch approval. Now, batch approvals have worked for me multiple times. I got batch approvals, I think it was when I got my Polonium 30 and SBR'd my Mark 18. I got approvals for both of those the same day. Now, it was months after I certified them. And I believe the Polonium K and the Mod 1, I also got a batch approval, and that was like the same day. But again, also months after I certified them. None of those I certified on the same day like I did with these ones. But what happens is, and this is another good reason to get maybe multiple NFA items, is that when one of them finally comes across their desk, well, then they'll go through all of your forms that are out there and take care of all of them at once. And so that was kind of what I was hoping to do with this. It didn't happen with this one, and it is kind of my own fault, which is funny because it's my 5th SBR. I should know better by now. I've even done a video on how to SBR your, short-barreled rifle. But I actually put the wrong model of gun in. Now, the reason for that is I use Silencer Shop's Form 1 service. I've used it in the past. It's really nice because if you've used their kiosk to get a suppressor, well, then they have all your fingerprints and they have all your stuff already on their system. They notify the chief law enforcement officer. They do all that stuff for you. They make it very easy. So to me, it's worth a few extra bucks for the ease and just the time saving of it all. Well, they have a drop-down menu for with your gun model. And under this manufacturer, they didn't have Mac 5K. They had something similar, and I picked that. And my form got disapproved, but it got disapproved the same day that I got the approval for this one. So I believe that I would have gotten a batch approval. But back to what we're talking about here is suppressors. Get your suppressors now. I don't ever get my tax stamps back quickly, and I just got a 1-day approval. I think that they're approving them faster than ever right now. Before hitting record for this video, I looked up the current processing times for an individual Form 4, which is what you would do for a suppressor. 10 days is the average wait time right now. 10 days. I've honestly never seen it that low. I've been paying pretty close attention to it for the last year and a half. And even when people were getting them pretty quick, they would say like 41 days or something, because while some people were getting them the next day, a lot of people, like myself, were still waiting many months. And so that made the average, 41 days or whatever. The average is now 10 days, which means that, say there are people like, I got this one the next day. Well, then some people are getting them in 3 weeks then, and that makes an average of 10 days. So it looks like no matter what, you're probably not going to be waiting very long. Even if you have something that normally holds them up like I do, you might still get it very quickly. I've never gotten a one-day approval in 10 NFA items. So I think that we are looking at the fastest wait times yet. And I'm not only saying that from my own personal experience with this suppressor, I'm saying it from, well, the ATF's website and what they are saying the approvals are right now. Average wait time for an individual Form 4 is 10 days. For a Form 4 on a trust, the average is only 16 days. Not much more. Whereas even when this stuff started moving quickly before, trusts were still taking a very long time. Now, even if you're doing it under a trust, the average is 16 days. A Form 1, which is what you're going to use if you want to manufacture an SBR out of a pistol, the average is 16 days. So either kind of NFA tax stamp, a Form 4 or a Form 1, you're looking at a very quick turnaround right now. And to me, that was always the biggest thing that sucked about NFA items. Yes, paying $200 for a tax stamp absolutely sucks. Having to give them all of your information and being put on a list of NFA owners, it sucks and it's unconstitutional. But almost the worst part of it is that you pay $1,000 for something plus a $200 tax stamp, and then you wait a year before you ever even get to use it or take it home. That part really sucks. Now you still have the other parts that suck, but at least you're not going to be waiting for it. If you are ready to put that money down and buy what you want to buy, you pretty much get to take it home right away. That's pretty sweet. And so I think that, if that's what is holding you back from getting a suppressor, right now is the best time that I've ever seen to get a suppressor. Again, I just got a one-day approval, and I don't ever get one-day approvals. I'm hoping that by the time I get this thing resubmitted, that I'll get a quick approval on the SBR Form 1 as well, because I really want to do a new video about this for you guys. It's going to be very cool. As you know, if you've been watching the channel for a while, I've talked about wanting to build an MP5K for a long time. And I'm doing this one right. I mean, look at the suppressor it's got on it already. And this is a modular suppressor. You can actually break it down to make it that long if you want. And you just put the end cap in there. Or you can have it this long. I put a Tri-Lug mount adapter on it from Yankee Hill Machine. And Tri-Lug is, dude, the way to go for an MP5. It is so quick and easy. I've got an Aimpoint on top, and I've got really cool other stuff to go along with it too. So hopefully we get that Form 1 resubmitted this week through Silencer Shop to the ATF and get this thing SBR'd right away, because I'm not wasting my money on a brace just to put a stock on it once I get the tax stamp. So until then, I have no way to shoulder this thing, obviously. But we might still go out and test this suppressor and do a video about that soon anyway, because I am excited to hear how quiet this thing is with 147 grain subs, roller delayed system, and a very long suppressor. I think it should be pretty ridiculous. So that I'm very excited about. You should be excited too. If you've always wanted a suppressor, go out and get a suppressor. I don't see any reason to wait, because we might get them deregulated someday soon. People have been thinking that for a long time, and it hasn't happened yet. Now, don't get me wrong. I am optimistic. I definitely want that to happen. I hope that happens. Like I said at the beginning of the video, apparently there's Republicans holding that process up right now so that it's not getting out of committee. Because things like the Hearing Protection Act, which would deregulate suppressors, the Short Act, which would deregulate SBRs, well, they need to get out of committee for a vote. And apparently, right now, there are some Republicans saying that this isn't the right time. Well, if this isn't the right time, when is? Because, they always try to pass these things when there's a Democrat president or Democrat control of one of the houses of Congress, when they know they won't actually get it passed. And to me, that's just all acting, trying to appeal to gun owners when they know that they'll never actually get anything done. Well, right now, we do have a Republican president, And we have Republican control in the House and the Senate. So we could actually get something passed. If this isn't the right time, what is? This is the time to get this kind of legislation passed. And so you, me, all of us, we need to get a hold of our senators, our representatives, and let them know that this is very important to us. And that if they don't take care of this, that they will not have our vote in the upcoming next elections. You know, midterms are honestly not that far away. I know we just had a presidential election, but midterm elections are only 2 years after that. So we're already, a year and a half from now it's going to be going on. So, we got to let them know that if they want our vote, if they want to stay in their cushy job where they get rich from insider trading, well, then they better represent we the people and pass the things that we want. And we want the Hearing Protection Act and the Short Act passed. But in the meantime, I just don't see the point in waiting on politicians. In my experience, they've pretty much always let us down. Even the ones that we think are supposed to be on our side. And so, take your life into your own hands and get what you want now. You probably will get it faster than you ever would have before. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. Make sure you subscribe to Sawtooth Tactical. And let me know down in the comments, have you gotten a suppressor in the last year, in the last month? And how long has your wait time been? Or are you waiting for the Hearing Protection Act to hopefully get passed? I would love to hear from you. I definitely hope that gets passed. But at the same time, I'm not waiting to get suppressors. I'm getting what I want now. And I think you should too. But totally up to you. From Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.